was still trying to figure out how to work these here computers and cameras. Everyone had like a microphone or couldn't hear each other. We spent half of our shows. I know this is an audio medium, but like kind of like looking into boxes and putting our hands up and trying to talk when somebody couldn't hear us. Like, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Can you
yeah.
hear me now?
And then you don't change anything, and you still ask them, "How about now?"
Is it like working? Watching anyone older than the age of 30 absolutely panic and have a meltdown when something doesn't immediately work.
Yes.
That was one of those moments.
There were some, as anything in life, there were some very funny, like hilarious moments that came out of that situation. Wasn't it obviously, not the reasoning, like the reasoning behind us having to do that was terrible, but there were some very humorous computer use, Skype use, whatever it is, different uses.
Like what?
Different moments.
Kind of petered out there at the end for me.
I forgot what's the main one that like everyone used. Zoom. Yeah. That's what it was. No, what was the one? Weren't they using Zoom for like a court case or something? Like a lawyer sent over. Yeah, you have it.
I know exactly where you're going with this.
It's hilarious. Yeah, he's like, it's like a filter. Yeah, I'm not a cat. By the way, I am not really a cat.
I'm not a cat.
Yeah, the lawyer who was trying to defend his client, he had a cat filter on his face.
It's hilarious.
He says, I'm here.
Can you imagine if, and yeah, that's what made it even better. It's like it was an older lawyer or whatever. But like, you imagine this Amber Heard Johnny Depp case that just wrapped up if like they had like filters.
Can I be completely honest with you?
Stuff that
for my
on that, or had to do that
and,
over Zoom.
And my soul, they did. Hilarious. I think they did some of them over Zoom, but
they had like
for my like
video,
soul and like for my sanity, I try to consume as little of that as possible.
Understand.
The only amount of that I consumed was like what was force fed to me via social media, like just like scrolling through.
Yeah.
And that I could care less.
You're gonna have that. No, it's understandable. I don't blame you.
I could really care less, but it is an important milestone.
Yeah.
Go ahead. No, you really want to talk about this?
Sorry, the only reason I really dove into it is because I know I'm already insane. So, I mean, whatever.
It's fair. No, we have reached an important milestone. It's officially angry hot outside.
Yeah.
Where you step outside and you're immediately angry.
Mm-hmm. I don't know, man. I'm glad that you guys have gotten there, because for me that's like March. But
well, you're angry when it's not 40 degrees outside.
Yeah, we have different thresholds.
Because you want cloudy, windy, and cold.
Yeah, a couple days ago when it was just like pouring down rain most of the day, I liked that. That was nice.
PJ Zuko wants it to be perpetually November. I guess not in the south because it's like 80 degrees down here, but it is officially like walk outside and become angry.
Yeah. Like, well, why am I doing this to myself?
I know it's hot because I set my house at like 78 degrees when I leave.
Yeah.
And like turn on all the fans just to try to be as efficient as possible. And when I walk back inside, it feels cool to me. Mm-hmm. The fact that 78 degrees is acceptable means it's too hot outside.
Yeah. Completely agree. If you put it at 78 when it's like 75 outside, it'd be the opposite reaction. It'd be like, why is my air conditioning broken?
I'm going to say something else too. I don't know why. I'm going to move on Friday.
Places.
Going to the beach when this hot, miserable.
You
feel like you're on the surface of like Mars.
Yeah.
But hotter.
Mm-hmm. Like, well, I don't know.
It feels like this like moonscape where it's 100 degrees outside. I don't know why Kevin is talking to me like he feels like I can hear what he's saying.
Well, Kevin's just trying to say something. No, you know what he's doing,
it feels like
man.
you're on like another planet because it's like it's so hot. You have the light reverberating off of the sand.
Yeah.
It's 100 degrees outside.
Oh, it's rough.
I am way too fair skinned to be out anywhere when it's that hot outside and not in the shade.
And everyone's walking around barefoot. They all know.
Well, I mean, me too.
No, I'm not talking about right now. I'm talking about on the beach. So like they're all walking around barefoot, like running to where they need to go or whatever. Or you have those people that it's just like, oh no, the bottom of my feet are literally on fire and being burned off right now, but I'm not gonna run anywhere. Like I enjoy this actually. I enjoy my feet being burned off. I can
walk from the parking lot back down to the beach. I can just walk, no running.
That's fine.
I got Hobbit feet. I don't.
Running's probably a little bit.
I don't wear shoes
drastic,
anywhere I don't
but-
have to.
Yeah,
So I got some nice calluses on the bottom of the feet. Good to go.
that's
But-
the thing. Why people do this to themselves?
We have a word for you, PJ.
Literally,
No,
like, I'm
no.
going to enjoy the beach. Good thing my feet are all calloused up from my
grandma-
past summers
My
of
grandma
burning
has,
my feet
has a
off.
name for you.
That's fine.
You're a tenderfoot.
Okay.
We used to run around outside barefoot all day. Step on a stick, don't
That's
even
not
feel
even-
it
see,
because throughout the
that's
summer
different.
you build up the calluses,
Yeah, sure.
and so you can walk on asphalt during the middle of the summer, not feel anything.
Okay. Well, I don't know. I mean, I did plenty of my fair share growing
Apparently
up
not.
and playing outside with bare feet. Like I did plenty of that.
Well,
Plenty.
I mean, I
You know
only
what
ever
I
see you in
didn't do?
shoes.
You know what I didn't do is go to the beach all the time.
Well, that's because
and-
Pennsylvania doesn't have beaches.
Exactly. Just constantly
So what are you talking
look
about?
around and be like, no, this is fine. We're enjoying this as everyone's
My
laying
favorite
around
trend that I've seen
miserable,
in
sweating
fashion-
on the beach
My
and
favorite
getting
trend in
burned.
fashion that I've
Like,
seen
what-
since I've been down here is football coaches coaching in flip flops.
Yeah,
Like football coaches down here stay ready to go to
Right.
the beach
it's true.
or on a boat somewhere.
That's actually like, yeah, you can, and we've talked about it before. Kind of the football coaching attire has changed a little bit too. Is like because most of the shorts look like they could just literally jump in a pool or
Yeah.
the beach whenever they want to, and most of the shirts are like, they're just ready to
Unless
go.
it's cool
Easy-
outside,
easy
because
to
then it's
take
sand
off
that
and-
season, and then they're wearing like sweatpants and sweatshirts.
Yeah,
You're
of
like, why are you
course.
wearing sweatpants
Like
and sweatshirts when
7
it's
coats,
90 degrees outside? You're like,
7 coats and a beanie.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, for sure. No, but you know what Kevin's back there saying. He's just like, yeah,
have-
but back in my day, we were all miserable and it
Well,
was
we're not-
fine.
we're not talking about the 1800s.
Is that anytime we talk about the heat with Kevin, it's just like, I actually
No,
like it
Kevin-
a lot more than the cold. And
Kevin is weird.
my grandparents didn't have any windows in their house. And like,
No, it's quite the opposite. He'd be like, yeah, it'd be like 90 degrees during the summer and no air conditioning. We would just leave the windows open and sleep, and it felt great.
it was fantastic. Yeah.
Like if you leave a door open in the office and it's like 70 degrees outside, Kevin's like, it's a little chilly in here.
Yeah. I don't know, man.
And once that number dips below 7, Kevin's not having it.
It's true. It's true. I am happy though that like you brought up the beach and the window, because I do feel like
I'm not a beach fan.
there's a perfect window to go to the beach, like
No, there's not.
of temperature.
No, there's not. Because there's always sand at the beach.
Sand's fine.
No, it's not.
People get so annoyed with sand. Sand isn't even the culprit. It's a side effect. Like
This young man is trying to show us something.
he really
Tennessee's
would
going
like,
to win it all in baseball. I agree. Yes. This young man writing in, Tennessee's going to win it all in baseball. They have
That's
to.
probably true.
Absolutely. Yeah.
That's actually very true.
Agreed.
That's the first time that, I don't know if that's the first time this happened, but it's the first time this
That
happened
was
to
very
me.
confusing though, because
on
a
the
young
air.
man in a Georgia shirt
Yeah.
walked up to us and told us Tennessee's going to win it all in baseball. So I think he's got some conflicting emotions going on right
He
now.
was smiling when he
I
said
don't
it
have
too.
conflicting emotions about the beach though. The beach is trash and you can keep it.
This is like everyone like that's the first thing people bring up is the sand, but whatever, take it or leave it. The beach can be pretty dang enjoyable
I like looking
when
at
it's
it
just
from a restaurant.
sure. I don't know. Like you say, I think there is a specific window, especially of temperature, where you go to the beach and it can be fun, and you do activities,
Man.
or like you get in the water and it can be fun. But for those who go to the beach to lay on the beach for 5 hours, not get in the water at all, just cook in 100-degree weather, I don't know what to say to you, and I'm probably never. It's probably best we just don't talk.
So why do you go to the beach?
To have fun, have a good time.
Okay,
Go
how?
to the beach with friends, like you play some football or something like that.
You can do
like-
that not on the beach.
Sure, that's
And then
great,
you're
but
not-
you also don't have the water.
And then you're
I
not
like
sandy.
the water.
You're not sandy and
There
sunburnt.
are-
and
Plenty of people down here that hate beach water and don't go to the beach to get in the water or like ride the waves or anything. They're just like, nope, I'm going to the beach and I bring a few beverages and a
PJ,
book
there's a
and
reason.
lay on a
There's
towel.
a reason. Our
for
water
hours.
isn't great.
That's fine. It's a lot better than cooking while laying down like you're a steak.
There's a reason why the seafood down here is so good. and it's because there's so much like live protein and bacterium in our
Okay,
water.
I get that. I still don't understand those people. And I still will never
I don't understand you,
like pay.
and I can't read that.
I
This
don't
young man is.
understand.
I'm too old to read that far.
What is that? Mets?
Yeah,
Something about the Mets.
something.
Put it up again. Put it up again.
So just for those at home, we have a young man.
Said,
Is this guy just giving us takes?
yeah, that's it. Mets are the best in baseball without DeGrom or Scherzer.
I don't think that's even close to the truth. The Braves are bird dogging them right now.
I don't know, man. I don't know, man. He might be onto something.
I don't think so. You know where I'm at with that. We talked about it yesterday, but I'm not going to jinx it.
Please, God, don't.
I'm not going to jinx it. All right.
And
that
I
being
won't
said,
jinx it by saying that it's jinxed.
It's Friday. The show
So-
is already completely off the rails. We got some stuff to dive into. Lincoln Riley sat down with ESPN to discuss his exit from Oklahoma and the future of college football, job at USC. I think some interesting statements from him involving the future of college football and potentially how they've acquired some of their players. Methinks the Lincoln doth protest too much. And also, there's some of those in there where it sounds like Lincoln Riley's joining the Live Golf Tour because you're like, come on. Come on. Speaking of that, Bryson DeChambeau has officially joined the Live Golf Tour. Will join them in their second tournament when they play in Portland. So we get to see that. Did you know that Live Golf is officially underway? Started yesterday.
Yeah, no, I saw it by accident. Actually, I walked into one of the rooms and went to
It's gonna be huge.
went to do some work. And as I started doing my work, I was like, what is that sound? And I looked up at one of the tabs and someone was watching it on YouTube and just left it open. So I was like,
Was it Kevin?
Yeah, it was probably Kevin.
Kevin, were you watching Live Golf? You traitor.
How dare you,
You
sir?
traitor.
What are you doing?
Kevin
It's not
Thomas-
even real golf.
Kevin Thomas hates America and the PGA Tour. Let's go
Did
to
you
break.
ski-
I have no. I have
All
to.
right,
I have
all
to
right.
mentally process that Kevin Thomas is a traitor. We'll be back after this. Second Down on ESPN Radio is presented to you by the Uniform Source. Christian Gokel alongside PJ Zuko. We needed Cam here in the last segment to hit us with all right, let's get back on track.
Yeah, but then we just, no. Like, I love Cam, but we know how that would have gone. Like, there are certain segments in days like today. I don't know. I'm in a mood today. I'm not going to lie. It's weird. I'm in a weird mood. It's fine. But there are certain segments that even if we had someone who was like, all right, let's get back on track, we wouldn't listen to
Would
them.
have steamrolled them.
Yeah, we would have gone on for another 2 or 3 minutes about how we weren't going to get back on track, and then we were going to talk about whatever we were talking about before.
And then we're saying, well, then 3 and out's up next.
Yeah, pretty much. That's how it goes. But that's why we're here.
Well, apparently Kevin Thomas is the biggest fan of Live Golf there is.
He's actually wearing a shirt. Did you see that? A Live Golf shirt?
Consuming it nonstop. Yeah. Kevin Thomas has never watched a round of golf in his life before.
Can't confirm.
But now it's just like, hey, it's pretty great. And listen, it is a completely different animal in the way that they are pushing the golf through in the broadcast, right? It's shotgun starts. They're doing some team aspects to it as well. And so for the viewer at home, it's just like, it's like the Red Zone channel for a golf tournament, right? It's just action the whole time. You don't have to wait 2 hours from the time the first guy tees off to the golfers you actually want to watch. It's as soon as it starts, everybody's playing.
Yeah.
And so it is just whip around coverage, fun. To me, it is what it is. Probably not going to consume very much of it because it doesn't seem like an actual golf tour. It seems more so like exhibitions. And there's not really any stakes outside of how much more money can I earn.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm always the guy, right? I'm always the guy who says the XFL is not going to work. The USFL is not going to work. I'm always that guy. And up until now, I've been right every time. I'm not trying to be
very different.
I'm not trying to be negative.
Yeah.
But to me, I think the average sports fan can only consume so much sport.
Yeah.
Right? You can only consume so much. And so when you're like, hey, I have 3 different football leagues on top of college football, people are going to watch the NFL. People are going to watch college football. And maybe you're going to get a modicum of people watching the XFL and the USFL or whatever other FLs you want to put out there. Right? Mm-hmm. It's why, for the most part, inside of American sports, there's only one major sports league per sport.
Yeah, for sure. And a lot of those people aren't just dipping into football generally, right? They're dipping into other things. So you start having football leagues when they're watching their other sport that they like, and it's like, it becomes a little bit too much. Maybe they can do that, but then they can't go to a third sport that they like, right? So, like, I am a subscriber to that thought as well.
And I will say this, the one overarching thing that's always going to make someone interested in different sports, whether it's like cricket to Live Golf to like Pac-12 swimming, is gambling.
Yep.
Like that's
yeah.
always going to drive people to consume your sport is gambling and the gambling money that can get involved. But it's a different equation now with some of these different leagues that are out there, like the Live Golf League. It's not an equation of, can you make me a return on investment? It's I'm basically using you as commercials. Mm-hmm. I'm using you as PR to try to change the public perception around what we're trying to do.
Yeah, basically. But here's all that.
And I'm not trying to say like I'm woke by not consuming it. I am telling you, I don't have the mental capacity nor the inclination to consume this.
Yeah. And like we were talking about yesterday, like I understand where you're coming from with that too, especially when like it's just a different style of, you can say like, yeah, it's still golf, and of course they're out there playing golf, but it's under different circumstances and different,
it's not competitive
parameters.
It's
right?
It's not competitive. It's an exhibition. Like I said,
like we were talking about. Yeah. It's like, I think I said this on the break. I don't think I said it on air, but if you go out and have some buddies play a pickup game of basketball, and it's just fun, competitive basketball, whatever. Sure, there's going to be your tryhards, and there's going to be some guys who are just fooling around or whatever. You can have a game to 21, and then the next game you say, all right, let's put like $15, $20 on it. Just that 15 or $20 there's going to be a whole lot more trying hard, right? There's going to be a whole lot more. I
understand where you're coming from on that, but there is a difference in money from finishing in last place and finishing in first place.
Sure, but there's also.
But nobody's losing money.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You're not going into it where I just feel like that is a pretty big motivating factor for a lot of people. And that's a whole heck of a lot different than it is on the PGA Tour. And just from that, like that's only one side when you talk about competitive nature of somebody. But just that, you take that out, that changes the competitive nature of the game a whole lot. And then there's other factors too. So
it is what it is. And I kind of agree with Rory McIlroy where it's separating the sport at a time where it might have been at its most unified. It's ripping away a lot of its top stars. Granted, no one inside the top 14 in the sport has moved on, but a lot of the most recognizable names have left the PGA Tour to go over to this new Saudi Arabian back tour, right? It's dividing the game for something that, if I had to guess, won't be around in a couple years.
I don't know. We'll see. It's
just every time one of these venture startups, like to me, this is so different than F1 because F1 was already a huge thing. It's just that F1 has now become involved in the US market, in the US mind, a lot more than it has in the past, right? You're not trying to start a new F1 circuit. That was already there. It's just that US consumers are now consuming it, right? All of these rebel upstart leagues that I always see, they haven't worked. And I know we're waiting for the XFL to try again for what, the third time to get this figured out?
The third time, but I mean,
you had Donald Trump's league back in the 80s drafting Herschel Walker. It doesn't work.
I think that the second attempt was working.
And then COVID killed it, is your opinion?
I think it was probably a big factor. I mean, it seemed like it was working a whole lot better than the other types of upstart football leagues that we've seen.
I'm trying to think of what is the upstart rival sports league that has succeeded. Like when you're trying to take on the behemoth.
Yeah.
Because the interesting thing with the PGA Tour is, and maybe this is something, ESPN has a good article out about this, but maybe this is something they're going to have to address moving forward if they want to stay relative, because I think this is a wake-up call to them, is the NFL was like this for a while. Major League Baseball was like this for a while. Currently, the PGA Tour is a 501c6 nonprofit, but it's a nonprofit organization because the money lines up at the end of the day to how much charity work they're doing and how much money they're giving out. I think since it became that in like the 70s, it's in the billions of dollars to how much they have donated to charities, right? And it's a lot of times up to the TV advertisers, the TV networks and the tournament sponsors to come up with the purses. You're not making your money from the PGA in and of itself. So when you look at the PGA Tour, right now there's a cap to how much money they can give them. And you can't give players salaries from the PGA Tour because you have to maintain that nonprofit status, right? That might have to change in the future, if anything. But going back to what I'm saying, I haven't seen one of these rival sports leagues work. And it's because eventually there has to be a return on investment. And there's only so many hours in the day, and there's only so much sport that different fans can consume.
Yeah. No, I mean, I know what you mean for sure. And I agree with you. Like, obviously there's not really a big one, not one that comes to mind, and certainly not one that's come out in the last 5 or 10 years.
Do you remember when we were trying to talk about? You remember when we were trying to talk about the new startup league in basketball that was pulling away all of the top high school players from college basketball and paying them these salaries? What happened? NIL comes in, that thing's gone.
Yeah, right.
Squashed.
Yep. There's different ways, there's different avenues to take those types of competitors down. Sure. I'm not even saying trying to take them down. I'm just saying you are trying to stop a machine and you're trying to get in there and steal some of the production away from it. It's not going to happen. But that's what I'm saying. That other machine is either going to evolve or it's just already going to be so good that they don't even need to change anything. It's just not going to work out for that other.
And I've caused Kevin Thomas to storm out of the studio because he wants the XFL to work more than anybody.
I think ultimately that there is room for the XFL to possibly work.
But okay,
So,
I want to use you as an
we'll see.
example. I want to use you as an example because you are more than an average sports fan, right? You consume more sporting content than the average person, mostly because it's your job, but just as a person, right? You wouldn't be here doing this if you didn't love sports and you didn't do this.
Right.
Would you set aside time on your weekend to consume, we'll call it 2 hours because they want to kind of make it into a 2-hour block? Would you set aside time on your Sunday or your Saturday during the weekend to watch the XFL?
That's the weird thing, though, is it's odd, right?
Because right now,
like,
when Penn State plays, you're setting aside probably 5 hours
sure
of your Saturday to watch Penn State.
I'd say
When
like
the
Penn
Steelers play,
State is probably the only, I don't know, Penn State, and that's the thing is I don't even really get, like, I can't even watch the Steelers most of the time because they're on local programming.
you gotta get that
of
Sunday.
some
You gotta
sort.
get that Sunday
Like,
ticket, big dog.
I don't have that. Sorry.
All right.
So it's like Penn State's probably the only
No,
one
be
that I
honest,
do
it's-
like.
be honest,
I'm going
though.
to sit aside.
If the Steelers, you have the same love for the Steelers that you, I'm not trying to question your fan. I'm like, I don't love the Falcons the same way I love college football, right?
Yeah,
It's just
right,
you can
yeah.
you have certain things that you're more passionate about the others. If you love the Steelers the same way you love Penn State, you'd have Sunday ticket and you'd be setting aside that block of time on Sundays. But the reality is, on Sundays, a lot of times you're doing other things like being in the woods or spending time with your family and doing stuff like that. My point is, you as a more than average sports fan are not going to set aside a block of your time to watch the XFL. True or false?
Yeah, right. True. If I'm off and I'm available, I might check it out. Right?
You might check it out.
Yeah, I'd probably check it out. Yeah, but if the Steelers are on and the XFL is on, I'm watching the Steelers.
And so yeah, well, I'm not talking because they're not going to be playing at the same time. My
right,
point
no,
is,
I
on
know.
a
That's
weekend like
hypothetical.
this weekend,
Yeah.
are you setting aside time to watch the XFL?
Yeah, probably not.
Eventually, TV networks are going to look at the return of how many people are watching these games and say, all right, we're not buying this contract, or if we do, it's going to be a lot cheaper.
Yeah. No, if true.
Do I hope I am wrong because it creates new jobs and new opportunities for players who wouldn't have them otherwise? Absolutely. Do I see a market potentially where it could be the, I don't want to say purgatory, but the G League of the NFL, where it's you're coming out of college, so you've run out of eligibility in college, but you're not quite good enough. You're borderline scout team player right now, but you still want to keep playing and you want that opportunity to go and play in the NFL again. So you need a league to play in there. Yes. But at that point, you have to receive funding from the NFL.
Right.
Right.
be able
Major
to
League
do so.
Baseball, the Braves has their farm system, and that's where the money's coming from. They're not trying to start their own league where they're using it to create their own TV deals and create their own revenue. The Braves pay for their minor leagues.
Mhm.
That's not the case with the XFL.
The same thing with the NBA, right?
Right, G leagues. Yep, it's not the case. I hope I am wrong because I don't want people to fail in their endeavors. Maybe the Live Golf Tour. I don't know, but
That's what I'm saying. Is like I'm sitting here thinking like
maybe the Live Golf Tour. But that
Yeah.
being said, I haven't seen one work, and until it does,
I think the only rebuttal going back to the Live Golf Tour that people could have is just the ridiculous amount of money that the people that are backing the Live Golf Tour have.
yeah, and it's
But
different
then
than the
again,
XFL because
people
they don't
that
care
have
about
money
return on
want to keep
investment.
making money.
Yeah,
right.
But they're going to is the
They're
point.
going to no matter
they're
what.
going to because of gas and because of everything else, right? All of their exports, they're going to keep making money. This is a fun PR side project for them.
Yeah.
But if it's not a sustainable business model, I'm kind of with you to the point where it's eventually they're going to look at the data sheet and say, this isn't fun anymore.
Well, that and like
And if it's not self-sustaining and you're not earning money through sponsorships and other things like that, then when they go, nope, then it's done.
Yeah, I think maybe I'm looking at this the wrong way. Is when they say it's done, when they say it's over, is not when they get the. I feel like not when they get the reports back of how much money they're making or losing. It's more or less going to be, is this PR move working or not?
Yeah. Or straight up when they get bored of it.
Yeah, true. or
It's a pet project.
yeah, or morale isn't going up about us as a country or a group or whatever. Well, okay, never mind. That didn't work.
Yeah.
Scrap it. So
And then you're just kind of sitting there saying, I'd really like to play some golf again. But
that's probably when it ends. Yeah.
it is what it is. A lot of these guys that have moved over, they're not going to worry about it, even if it does fold, because they already got their cheese
Exactly.
up front. I mean, Dustin Johnson has already earned more money through this deal than Tiger Woods did in all of his PGA Tour earnings.
Insanity. Yeah.
See, my man Tiger, you see the news about him today, though?
Off the top,
Became the third known athlete per Forbes to become a billionaire.
Oh, good for him.
The Nike deal is paying off.
Yeah. So Tiger Woods, LeBron James,
Michael Jordan.
Makes sense. The GOATs.
2 in the last year. LeBron and Tiger.
Can't blame him. I mean, that's wild when you think of, both of them were able to catch up. I know, like you said, all those endorsement deals and Tiger Woods, LeBron James have dipped their hand in a ton of different money-making industries and whatnot. But
well, I mean, Jordan
literally has their own. He literally has his own shoe brand. I mean,
Michael Jordan's on half of the jerseys inside of college athletics right now.
Yeah.
Like, talk about just past shoes.
He really is. Like, he's the GOAT on the basketball court, and you want to talk about just like financially putting his name on things and being able to go around. I mean, he's definitely one of the GOATs in that aspect too. Dude owns a NASCAR team. Like, there's so many different things. Kurt Busch won a race a few weeks ago.
There we go.
Highly competitive.
Can I ask you a question?
Bubba Wallace won a race last year.
This is completely someone who does not consume NASCAR a lot, and I'll be completely fair on that. But
sure, that's fine.
I enjoy it. I enjoyed races. I just don't consume the nitty gritty of NASCAR that much because, like I said, you only have so much brain capacity to consume sports.
Yep.
NASCAR isn't one of the ones that I follow a lot. I'm pretty sure I saw a driver that had a Ford logo on the side of his car, but when they went to his driver profile, there was a Chevy logo next to it. So could he potentially be driving a Chevy car with a Ford logo on the side?
That probably, I know who you're talking about. I think that was Chase Briscoe who was driving a Ford car this week. And if you saw that, they might have got the graphic wrong because they're
like, it was just on like this door, like on the door was the Ford logo.
Yeah.
And then when they did his graphic, they had a Chevy logo on it.
Oh God. Yeah. They messed it up then because he drives a Ford. So yeah. I think there has been an instance though, because you have all these different, you start talking about, mechanic industries and stuff like that. There's certain things selling parts and whatever. There's so many different like websites and everything that you can get into if you're trying to fix up your car or whatever. Anyway, I think last year in the Daytona 500, there was a Ford, either a Ford or a Toyota racing, and they were sponsored by CorvetteParts.com, like ChevyCorvetteParts.com. And I thought that was kind of hilarious. But as for this weekend, I think they just got that graphic wrong because that was.
So long as those checks cash.
Yeah, exactly.
You can have a spot on the.
Yeah.
You can have a spot on the card.
It's crazy. Yeah, it's insane.
Let's take a quick break. We'll come back with more. This is Second Down on ESPN Radio.
exactly.
Second down on ESPN radio, presented to you by the Uniform Source. All right, we mentioned a little bit earlier, Lincoln Riley sat down with ESPN.com to talk over some of the bigger storylines from his departure from Oklahoma to why he wanted to go to USC to where he wants to see playoff expansion go. And I think there's a few interesting notes in here with some of the things that he said. Let's start with the big overarching one. I know Kevin thinks this is something that's inevitable. I'm not sure yet because I very much believe in eventually you can kill the golden goose. And I don't know if college football wants to do that or if they're smart enough to stop themselves from doing that or if they're even legally capable of not doing that. But that being said, he was asked that if he agreed or not with several of the coaching peers that think a break in college football is inevitable, where a lot of the top teams just go off, create their own league, and then let the rest of college football, where it's more financially reasonable to compete against each other, continue to do that. He said he says, exactly, it sure feels like it. Sorry. It sure feels like it. And I think the most important thing is we've got to get one person in charge, one voice. That's where college football has messed up because it's a great sport, just phenomenal. And there's way more good about it than bad. But the fact that some have gone left and some have gone right is what makes it so hard, just our alignment. I agree with Lincoln Riley there. Think about the premise of college athletics. You have the NCAA as the governing body of everything, right? Everything over college athletics, specifically on how you can compete, the rules around your eligibility, right? The eligibility of your athletes. The NCAA oversees all of that, right? College football is so much bigger than everything else that you have this just giant, like if you're looking at a bar graph, it's breaking through the bar graph and everything else, you can barely see it on the bottom. Yeah. Just in terms of revenue and viewership and all that, right? College basketball has a blip on there, but college football is just a behemoth.
Yeah, that's not opinion. That's right. Fact. Yeah.
And so the fact that you are trying to manage that the same way you're trying to manage all the other sports is incomprehensible.
Yeah.
And so I agree with Lincoln Riley that you need one voice. You need a commissioner. You need somebody who is in charge. I think, is Greg Sankey doing his best to do that?
Right.
I think so a little bit, but also you have so many other big personalities that have not equal power, but they think they do.
Mm-hmm.
Like Kevin Warren with the Big 12, right? Bob Bowlesby. These guys feel like they have that power. And so there is just this separation. But if you had that one person in charge who could kind of lead and kind of direct where college football is going, I feel like it would alleviate some of the giant question marks around the sport. But it is asinine to think that you can sit here and say, oh, we're going to manage college football the same way with the same management group that we manage water polo.
Yeah, no, it's just bigger.
And it's not being managed. It's the conferences.
Not.
The conferences are doing the management.
That's what's been going crazy about the last like 3 or 4 years with all this happening. Is it seems like you've referenced it a million times. Like it's the wild, wild west, and who's in control of this thing? Who's governing this at all? And it doesn't seem like there's a whole lot of that going on right now at all. So it's wild. And at very least, if you have one person or you know, one body dictating kind of what's going on, at very least you have less question marks. And whether you agree with it or not, whether you agree with their decisions or whatever or not, at least there's a clear indication of what's wrong, what's right, what's going on, what's happening. Like there needs to be that. Absolutely. So yeah, I don't agree a lot with what Lincoln Riley says, but I think that is a very good point. You need, as with any case, as with any organization or you know, anything like that, you need some direction. And right now you don't really have that. So being able to have a voice that could give that to people and isn't just impersonating, right? It isn't just acting like they are, would be huge.
He was asked, the transfer portal has created its share of chaos, and there was a report you guys may have tampered with Jordan Addison before he got into the portal. Is there anything to that?
Oh, he's just going to admit it?
Yeah, you can't. Listen, I'm not trying to question interviewing styles, but you can't do yes or no answers in that question.
Yeah.
Lincoln Riley's response: no. A lot of that comes from the nature of the portal. Go back to Caleb when he left OU. Everybody thought that was a done deal. Shoot, there's still so much new about this that he's got to go through and that his family has got to go through. A different location, a different league, a different staff, different teammates. They were just going through their process. Lincoln.
Yep. That's so good. That's
he did
gold.
not have an NIL deal in place before he got over here. As soon as he gets there, NIL deal in place.
Yeah. No, that just happened, man. We sat down with him for 5
just a
minutes
coincidence.
after he got here. Oh, we had reports he wasn't off the plane yet. Well, I mean, you know how like planes are working better nowadays, and you got Wi-Fi and stuff. We can connect that way. Sure. Yeah. No, it just happened generically. Get out of here, man.
Listen,
That's
I'm
crazy.
not. Listen, Lincoln Riley, he's living the dream. My man's 38 years old.
Are you saying he
9 years
Caleb
ago?
Williams?
I'm saying there was never a chance Caleb Williams wasn't going with him.
Yeah, no,
but 9
completely
years
agree.
ago, Lincoln Riley was the offensive coordinator at East Carolina, excuse me.
Yeah, 10 years ago, East Carolina was one of those teams, though.
But no, 9 years ago,
Yeah.
he was the offensive coordinator at East Carolina. Now he's a head coach at USC. He's been to the college football playoff a few times. He's got multiple Heisman Trophy winning quarterbacks. Dude's on a meteoric rise.
For sure.
Now let's see if he can win a big game. We got more to come here. Let's take a quick break. We'll come back and get you ready for 3 and Out next. Second down on ESPN Radio, presented to you by the Uniform Source. 3 and Out coming up next. Ben Troop and Kevin Thomas taking you into the weekend. Got some Braves Pirates coming at you a little bit later. Braves winners of 8 in a row, just chipping away at that Mets lead there in the NL East. But PJ, I have something important to ask you. When do movies officially, like as series, jump the shark? I'm not saying like you need X amount of movies to finish like the material, right? Like the books or whatever, but just like the fast franchises. And for example, coming out today, Jurassic World Dominion. Like, how many movies can you go before everyone's just eventually like, all right?
I'd say,
like on average, if you had to guess,
I'd say one. As a caveat to this, like it depends on the quality of the movies, because if they're good enough, people aren't going to care. But
when has there ever been a series that was good enough that people didn't care?
That's the problem, right? Is the more you make these movies, the more you have to stretch yourself to make creative things, and some things don't become creative enough to actually be fun or good, and then they just become meme worthy or bad, like the Fast franchise or like Star Wars. So,
oh wow,
I would say that probably like 6. Probably like 6.
6? You're giving them 5?
Yeah, because think about like Jurassic World I'm more open-minded on. Like this could be really good. I haven't seen it yet. This could be really good. The second Jurassic World movie I didn't think was great, but the fourth one was actually really solid. The first Jurassic World one was actually really solid. The only
Jurassic Park movies that are good are the first one and then the second one. That's it.
I don't know, man.
That's
Come on.
it.
I think that
the rest of them
and
are
then
mid.
Star Wars.
No, they
like,
are what they
Star
are.
Wars got to 6 before they got like really,
but they
really,
are
really
what
bad.
they are. Like, let's be honest. Like the last trilogy of Star Wars, every Fast and Furious movie, like after Tokyo Drift, it's just
because they changed what they were.
Well, it's just CGI with famous people, and you're gonna buy tickets to it. The movies aren't good, and it's okay to say it. And so Jurassic World Dominion is coming out. Let's just bring back every single actor that's ever been in any of these movies, and we're gonna give you some new dinosaur, and you're gonna buy tickets to it, and you're gonna see it. I think
hopefully that's the end of it.
Yeah, I hopefully
it better be.
Hopefully. Speaking of the end of it, this is the end of our show. 3 and Out coming up next. Kevin Thomas, Ben Troop. If you missed any portion of our show, you can check it out on ESPNCoastal.com. We're going to the weekend. We're tired. We'll see you on Monday.
Is it the end or is it the end?